Welcome back. Welcome back. It is the Kovacs report, and it's time to take a look at DC previews. Yes, DC Connect number 65 has arrived. These are books that are being solicited now and will be published in December. We're going to go through the whole catalogue. I'm going to highlight what's new. I'm going to highlight what's exciting. I'm going to point out what's on my pull list and what isn't. Probably going to say some good things, probably going to say some bad things, but it's all in a lot of good fun. So DC KO is the big one. All Fight Month is here. I've done a video about that, and it is adorning this cover here. Now, before we get into it, I should say, you know the drill by now. If you like the video, hit the like button. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. It would be amazing if you did. I'm trying to grow the channel and I need your help to do it. So I thank you in advance. But let's dive back into DCKO. So we have a message from Scott Snyder himself, one of the masterminds behind this big event, which I am really excited about, actually. And the more the time passes, the more I'm getting excited about it. And I just, it's unusual for me because this type of event wouldn't really normally, be intriguing to me. I'm more of a Marvel guy anyway, but with Marvel's events being a little lackluster at the moment, this is growing and growing and growing in its appeal. And you know what? It's a bit of fun, right? Watching your favorite characters have a big duel out, Darkseid arriving. I mean, you can't say no, can you? Let's dive in. Let's have a little look here. So we got a message from Scott Snyder himself. He is one of the creators of this whole thing. He says, when Josh, and that's Josh Williamson, the other co-creator of this whole event, let's call it, when Josh and I were coming up with KO, we realized that there's a point in the story where this big tournament all the characters are taking part in would have an all-out brawl section. So the result of that is a whole month of Slugfest fans have speculated about for decades. And I've done a little video on that, actually, which you can check out on the channel. Go to it. These are one-shot special issues that tie into the main story of DCKO and show the brutal face-offs between friends and foes alike. Some results will shock you, some may thrill you, but that's what this event is all about. Knockdown, drag out, brutal fun. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So let's kick off. We have DCKO Superman versus Redacted #1. Now, let's just say this is actually the sort of second tier of the fights. This kind of gives away who gets through the first round, or rather 8 out of the 16 bouts of who's getting through to the next round. And it's obvious these guys would get through. They're the biggest characters, right? Wouldn't be much of an event without these guys. So there's no sort of spoiler here, really. We all knew it was coming. However, there probably will be spoilers in this somewhere this month, because this is a absolute packed edition of DC Connect. So Joshua Williamson and Sean Izaski, I think that's how you pronounce his name, kick off with Superman. Then we got tie-in. So there's one-shots and tie-ins, not just one-shots. Aquaman 12 by Jeremy Adams and John Timms. And we're going through all 8 rounds here. So we've got DK, or rather DCKO Wonder Woman versus Who Knows Who by Joel Jones, Jason Howard. Titans ties in number 30 with John Layman and art and cover by Pete Woods. And who else we got? We got Harley Quinn, Leah Williams, Stephen Byrne, which I'm looking forward to. I like Harley. And these covers are pretty cool. These are all Jorge Corona covers, actually. Except this one, Dan Morrow. So The Flash is another tie-in, and that's written by Mark Waid and Christopher Cantwell, with art by Vasco Georgiev. Dan Morrow does, I don't know how he pumps out the amount of work he pumps out every month. That man is a machine, an absolute machine. And I tell you what, it never disappoints. So onwards, Superman 33, next tie-in, that's Joshua Williamson and Hayden Sherman from Absolute Batman fame. And then we have Red Hood versus Who Knows Who, written by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, with art by Dustin Nguyen. So Red Hood sounds really interesting. I'm looking forward to that one because we don't have a Red Hood book now. Anyway, moving on. We also have the other series, little minis that are rolling around during this DCKO that tie in. And Nightfall is one of them. Now, I'm not going to read the solicit here because I don't want to spoil it because issue 1 hasn't come out. But essentially, this mini-series is about Batman fighting various Robins from different ages and times for survival. Sounds amazing. It is a battle for the cowl. I'm all for it. That sounds fun. We got like the Nightwing Batman on the cover there, and that looks pretty rad. So moving on, Justice League Unlimited ties in issue 14 by Mark Waid, and again Dan Morrow. Dan Morrow's on Night Fight too. I told you this man he's an absolute, I don't know, a juggernaut. a juggernaut. So let's read the synopsis for this one. As the time displaced heroes fight for their lives against the towering might of the demonic Neuron, Mr. Terrific descends into the cold vacuum of space. But this time, it's by his own design. Can Michael Holt team with the rogue agent behind Justice League Red to purge all emotion and coldly calculate the fate of humanity? Grab the tissues, everybody. This issue's about to break some hearts. Now, I wouldn't normally be up for this. However, my interest in Mr. Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific, has been absolutely pushed to number one right now in DC. I love the guy, and that's down to the amazing Mr. Terrific Year One miniseries that's rolling at the moment, which I thoroughly advise you jump on. It's near the end now, but it's time to recommend it. Now, listen, this is the other big, huge, massive, mega reveal. I've done another video on this, which should come out before this one, and that is the reveal of the Absolute Joker. Now, this is a cover by Nick Dragotta, and he looks monstrous. And I think that's what Scott Snyder is aiming for, really, here. It feels like a monster horror book, Batman, and I love it. I didn't love it, then I did. I'm not sure about this Joker, but I'm not going to judge it right now because I need to see it in panels as such to see how it all works. But it is exactly in tune with Scott Snyder is doing with the Absolute Batman book. It is subverting everything that you'd expect. So this is what I would expect. So we'll see how the fans respond to it. But it looks pretty gruesome. It looks like he's got all those venomous veins that Bane has and now Batman has. So I guess this is down to Arc M and the experiments going on in there. So this is written by Scott Snyder with one of my favourite artists, Jock, covered by Nick Dragotta. So that is an absolute must for me. Absolute must. No pun intended. That just came out that way. Now, speaking of Arc M, it's getting its own one-shot, which sounds super interesting. If you don't know, there's all these institutions all over the place, these arcs where these experiments are going on. They're creating villains, doing sort of lots of nefarious, terrible things. And the one in Gotham is designated Arc M. So it's getting a special one-shot. So it's by Scott Snyder and Frank Thierry, which fills me with hope, and art and cover by Joshua Hickson. So the origins of the enigmatic Arc M are explored. What terrible secrets lie within its walls? And just who is assigned to protect it from discovery? It looks amazing. That cover looks really, 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 really good. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, Absolute Wonder Woman has a bit of a reveal too. So she is going to be meeting for the very first time Absolute Batman. And I've always wondered how these two Absolute versions would react when they meet each other. So this sounds very exciting. It's written by Kenny Thompson with art by Hayden Sherman, who I think is doing an amazing job of the book. Now, let's see what it says. The first meeting of two absolute heroes has arrived at last. The mark of Hecate at a crime scene in Gotham draws Wonder Woman into Batman's orbit in dramatic fashion. The world's greatest detective and the world's most famous witch must work together to solve a series of grisly and ambitious murders that threaten something much more dangerous coming for Gotham. Okay, and don't miss January's Absolute Batman 16 for the second chapter of this world-shaking me. Okay, so it's crossing over between the two titles as well. Good, I'm on board for that. Yes, I love that cover. I absolutely love it. Now, Superman is shaping up to probably be my favorite Absolute book. And Superman was never my favorite character, but what Jason Aaron's been doing with it is really, really coming to fruition now. It turned into a book which I found a little bit what's the word? Meh, I guess, mid, as the kids say. But it just really fast up the pace. And it's turned out to be pretty damn brilliant. I love it. This looks an exciting cover too. So it has all been leading to this, the final battle against Ra's al Ghul for the fate of Smallville and the soul of Superman. So that is art by Rafa Sandoval. And like I say, it's written by Jason Aaron. So the Absolute line is really shaping up. It's way better than the Ultimate line over at Marvel. They have no idea what they're doing with that, apart from Ultimate Spider-Man, which is essentially an absolute diamond of a book. So I'm really being drawn away from Marvel to DC in recent months. And I've been Marvel for over 4 decades, strongly Marvel, and DC as a second. But DC really are thinking about what they're doing more than Marvel at the moment. And it's paying off. You're getting some good stories, some good books. Can't complain. So, talking about complaining, Absolute Flash, as much as I love Jeff Lemire, I really couldn't get into this book at all. So it's not on the pull list, as is Absolute Green Lantern. I don't know, Al Ewing and Janov Lindsay. I'm not knocking their writing. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's just not clicking with me. So that's definitely not on my pull list. Let's see what else is. Well, this definitely isn't. As you know, if you've watched any of my videos, I really, really dislike Dennis Camp's work, and I'm not definitely not going to be reading Absolute Martian Manhunter. Now, Absolute Evil I will be, because this sounds really, really interesting. It's like DC's Sinister Six, basically. So we've got all the villains of the Absolute Universe uniting together to do some bad stuff. No heroes, no protection, no restraint. And that's written by Al Ewing with art by Giuseppe Camicoli. So that sounds really, really cool. It says, you villains united in the next era of the Absolute Universe. So that sounds really cool. But this, I think, is more of an advert. This is coming out in October, not December. So I'm very much looking forward to it, as I am with Batman. Wow, this book has gone absolutely intergalactic. It has sold over 500,000. Let me say that again, 500,000 copies. And that is with some thanks to the Blind Bag Initiative, which seems to be absolutely proliferating the comic book scene right now. But also, guys, because it was a #1 and it was pretty damn good, in my opinion anyway. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, each of these issues for the foreseeable future is going to be a one-shot story. So beginning, middle, and end each issue. I'm guessing that the issues over time will have some kind of story that goes through all of them. So this is why we can read the solicit here. So Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez doing an amazing job. And the new Batsuit and the new Batmobile. Oh boy. Oh boy, I feel like I'm 12 again. It's so, so cool. Anyway, let's see what this was about. As Bruce Wayne investigates the Crown of Storms, Batman pursues anarchy and discovers a criminal conspiracy hiding in plain sight that will change the game for the crime and criminals in Gotham City and the world. Okay, sounds really good. Now, I haven't seen Anarchy for many, many moons, actually. I remember buying the first Anarchy comics across the road from my school during my lunch hour, reading those, and he always looked pretty cool back then. So, Bloodhaven is turning on its hero. Nightwing doesn't have time to care. And unfortunately, neither do I, because Nightwing, for me, I'm not a big fan of Dan Waters. Again, not saying he's a bad writer. I'm just saying it doesn't click with me. I much prefer the arcs and the runs that came before by Tom Taylor and Redondo. And this just changed the dynamic of Nightwing for me, which is a shame because that previous run really brought me in to love the character a lot more than I did before. So it's a bit of a shame. Nice cover, but no thanks. Same with Batgirl. Tate Brumble. I'm not clicking with his Batgirl. The first arc for me just turned me off. However, his book out from Image, I think, is Everything is Dying or whatever. I think that's what it's called. It's a horror book. Honestly, it's one of the best indie books I've read in a very, very, very long time. I suggest you check it out. It's insanely good. Birds of Prey. Again, I've fallen out of love with this book too. I liked a lot of the earlier arcs, but for me, it's off the list for now. Batman and Robin is a catch-up book. I've got 20 issues to catch up on. Catwoman, again, I couldn't get into it after the change. I think for me is once you've read Brubaker's Catwoman, it's really hard. It's really hard to like anything else after it, which is such a shame. So I will catch up with some of these books eventually, like I will do with Harley Quinn, one of my favorite characters. So she's got an anniversary issue here, 200 Fast, 200 Furious, written by Elliot Cullen with art by the Dodsons. Okay, so the Dodsons are returning. They drew her, I think, first many moons ago. I remember those beautiful hardcovers that came out. So Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson, and Carlos Olivares, with art by Yannick Paquette. Obviously, there'll be a million variant covers. So let's see what it says. 200 issues, baby. We did it. I'm a certified bicentennial woman. I'm making my triumphant return to Gotham in style in an oversized clown extravaganza, and I'm bringing friends. No, I'm not talking about the Gun Buddies or Convoy, though they're here too. My very first artists, Terry and Rachel Dodson, are making their triumphant return to help tell a story about what makes me, me. Plus the epic final battle between wrong and wrong, as I face down the deconspirator in a fight for the future of Throat Cutter Hill. Well, I've definitely got to catch up now, especially if the Dodsons are coming back on. Although, you know what, I hope Amanda Connor and gang are in there too. I really hope so, because their run on Harley Quinn for me was just defining. I love it. I miss it. I need to reread it. Poison Ivy. Again, I'd like to retry this book, but not right now. Again, we've got another Harley and Ivy book here, Life and Crimes 2. So issue 1 obviously hasn't come out yet. So I'm going to give number 1 a little blast. It looks like a whole lot of fun. But what does it say? It says the Joker has framed Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy for a series of bombings. Now everybody in Gotham and their mothers, fathers and grandparents are after the terrific 2 Is that a good nickname? Twosome? Call it now with your suggestions. Okay, watches Ivan Harley's Uneasy Alliance is put to the test and tempered into the unbreakable bond we know and love today. If you love Joker and Harley, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. This ain't for you. There's like a decade of that stuff out there for you to read, and plenty of cartoons and games. Okay, it sounds like fun. I'll give it a go. Action Comics, Mark Waid, Skylar Partridge, just not ringing it for me. I tried. I really tried. And it's either an Action Comics or Superman. I forget which one, when they brought Superboy, Superman Prime back, and that was interesting. But then the next issue just fell off. I'm not sure which one it is, but again, Action Comics is no longer on the list. Detective Comics is definitely on the list. Tom Taylor with art by TK, cover by Mikhail Janin. Okay, so this is this a new arc, or is this a continuation? Well, it's Enter the Scarecrow, so that sounds interesting. Look at those two covers, look amazing. So Batman continues to reel after his defeat at the hands of the Lion, and the mysterious and deadly anti-fear virus that is coursing through Batman's veins cannot be cured. Some of the Dark Knight's most brilliant allies have tried and failed to find a remedy. Okay, so he has run out of friends to turn to, but he hasn't run out of enemies. Will one of Batman's deadliest foes be able to save him in time? Okay, so he's teaming up with Scarecrow. That should be very interesting. Unlike Supergirl, who is definitely a disappointment for me. It's definitely a book aimed at a specific audience. I'm not that specific audience. If you are that specific audience, you're probably absolutely loving it, and that's fine too. Superman Limited, Dan Slott. I love Dan Slott, but I tried Superman Limited for 3 or 4 issues, and oh boy, I can't read it anymore. It's just not my cup of tea. It's very much a 1930s throwback, slapdash. I don't know how to explain it without being rude. I just don't dig it. I'll leave it at that. I do not dig it. I tried, it didn't work. Now, Wonder Woman 28 is Tom King. Another book I'm hoping to catch up on, and with covers that look that cool, I'm going to put that to the top of the list very, very soon. Justice League Red. I read the first one. It's average in my opinion. I mean, Saladin Ahmed. I haven't read one good book by the guy anyway, to be honest. So that's been crossed off my list. JSA Jeff Lemire I've been picking up, and I'm starting to kind of enjoy it. I like the old throwback sort of 1940s feel to this one, actually. It's done very, very well. So I might start reviewing that book very, very soon. So Adventures of Superman, Book of L by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Now, I don't think the issue 1's come out just yet. No, it hasn't, actually, but I'm definitely going to read it purely because Philip Kennedy Johnson is writing it, and I'm really enjoying a lot of his work. Batman, Superman, Boys Finest, not on my list. I think they're little, like, one-shot stories. They're not my cup of tea. Green Lantern's off my list. I just don't like the characters. Same as Green Arrow. They might be great books, but they're not for me. Now, Cheetah and Treasure Rob, The Justice League. I've read the first 2 issues of that by Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott, and this is fantastic. Definitely on the pull list. So these 2 are not for me either. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, how many verses can we have? How many Godzillas and Kongs and Kaiju can they cross over with DC and Marvel? It's beyond me. I'm sure they'll find a new one. Gotham Academy first year. That hasn't come out yet. Might give it a little go. I think I will. I think I'll give it a go, but again, I think this is aimed at a very specific demographic, and I think I'm a little bit too old for that demographic. Anyway, moving on. Absolute Batman gets an annual. I've done a video on that. I think that's out in October. Yeah, it says at the top there, out in October. We've got the big guns, Daniel Warren Johnson on there, as you can see, and he's doing a story about Batman taking on, well, you can see what he's taking on. I'm looking forward to that. We'll definitely be reviewing that. So I've noticed in these preview catalogs now, they're doing adverts for books that are coming out on the month the catalog comes out. That's very interesting. So Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum #5. And this is the last issue. It's written by W. Maxwell Prince and Martin Morazzo and art. And this is the team behind the very successful Ice Cream Man, weird twisted horror book from Image, which I'm quite enjoying. And I thought I would enjoy this. Now, I read the first issue of this, and it was fun. And it was really fun. But the second issue for me was just too damn zany. It was so far out there. I just switched off. The art was lovely, but it's not for me. I'll stick to that Ice Cream Man, because that's pretty darn good. Okay, Batman Static Beyond. The issue hasn't arrived in our hands yet, so I can't read the synopsis here. Don't want to spoil it, because I will be reviewing the first issue. Sounds really cool. Sounds really cool. It's Static and Batman Beyond, as you can guess, straight out of the cartoon, getting up to who knows what. But it is an Elseworld books. Okay, so this is Elseworld 2, Immortal Legend Batman. So the first one, Carl Higgins and Matt Groom with art by Erica D'Urso and Dan Morrow, was really, really good fun. It set the premise up. There's a few surprises in it and twists and turns. I'm not completely sold on it just yet. It's not a bad book, but let's see where it's going with number 2, which is probably due out in a week or two. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, the Batman Gotham by Gaslight books I haven't been reading, and I wish I had because I like Andy Diggle. Again, there's just so many books on the list to catch up in. And we've got the facsimile editions because if blind bags, special editions, black and white editions, reprints, and everything else that's going on wasn't enough, we have to have facsimile editions. And they're cool if they're books that you want to put in your collection because you can't get the original because the original costs like $1 million, then great. But there's just so much of it. There's absolutely so much of it. Now, Court, Children of the Round Table by Tom Taylor and Daniel De Niculo was a bit of a surprise. It was a surprise hit for me, actually. I really, really enjoyed it. The first issue is out. It's a twist on this sort of Tale of Arthur and Excalibur, where this bunch of kids, they come into these enchanted weapons and they're all possessed by various knights of the Round Table, and they've got to stop the big bad from coming and taking over. And you know what? It was just a breath of air, a bit of fun. Grab a coffee and your favourite biscuit or whatever, or a Kinder Bueno at your lunch hour, and that's the perfect book for it because it's just a little bit of fun and light-hearted. And you know what? I didn't think I'd love it, but I really, really do. I really do. It's only 6 issues, unfortunately. So we're into some trades here. So we're getting the usual trades, the Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman. If you're collecting trades, this will be for you. Superman Unlimited #1 down slot. That's definitely not on my list. Teen Titans, Green Lantern, Resurrection Man, Quantum Karma. Now that I think is just about to finish, and I've been catching up on that. And that, my friend, by Ram V and Anand RK, is incredible book. I had absolutely zero interest in Resurrection Man until I started reading this. I mean, it is a black label book, so it means it's more adult. That's perfect because it suits the story. And you know what? It's one of my favorite DC books right now. Can't wait to find out how it finishes. Crypto by Ryan North. Well, again, Ryan North is one of those guys that just doesn't get it. I've no idea how he's working on high-profile books because I've yet to really be enthralled by his writing. Now, Crypto's okay. It's a bit of fun. I've read the first couple of issues and they were nice enough. But you know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this book's going to end. So I'm going to read the final issues and maybe do a review on that. Fire and Ice, definitely not for me. And we continue with more trades collecting mainline books, the Detective Comics, JSA, Absolute Power, and we are on to these compact collected editions, which are doing really well. The only problem is if you need to wear glasses like I do, it's pretty hard to read, but they are really good value for money. And they're chunky. You get a whole load of pages, you know. Well, this one here is almost 1,000, and that one's 120. So, you know, that's good bang for your buck. They're $9.99 each. So get on it. Wow, this looks good. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, wow, that's new art. Okay, 2 years in the making. Welcome to the definitive edition of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, these are things that I like collecting. These, you know, oversized slipcase hardcover special editions, and Crisis on Infinite Earths is a big one. So let's find out what it's all about. So I have heard and have seen that the artwork, they've remastered it, actually. Let's see what they say. So Marv Wolfman, of course, and George Perez, absolute giants. Revisit the legendary event that changed comics forever. Remastered from Jerry Ordway's original inks and original artwork provided by fans worldwide, with original colours restored and all the fine details that never made it to print ever before finally captured. Escape into the sprawling epic of Crisis on Infinite Earths 1 to 12 and wondrous mythology of history of the DC Universe 1 and 2 like never before. Also featuring, in celebration of this masterpiece, a nearly 250-page behind-the-scenes companion book. Discover the making of this groundbreaking work through the original memos, outlines, scripts, pencils, artwork, retrospective essays, fold-out covers, never-before collector material, and more. And, as a special bonus, Jerry Ordway remastered and inked the original George Perez pencils provided to Alex Ross for his legendary Crisis painting. Behold the long-lost beauty behind the painting with this never-before completed, until now, Perez piece, presented as a multi-page fold-out with colours by Jose Villarrubia. Wow, that looks incredible. $125, 736 pages, hardcover. Well, well, well. I think that's definitely got to go on the list, guys. That is a big one. It looks incredible. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So we got these more collected editions here, various ones, reprinting some of the older tales. And we've got some of the more recent tales. Let's see if we've got anything else that's new and special and fancy. Nope. Some reprints of The Invisible, Shady Change Man, Tom Strong, Earth 2, lots of the usual. And that is it. And a big advert for Peacemaker, which I've only watched the first episode. It was pretty good fun. So I'm looking forward to that. So there we have it. Those are my pulls. Those are my non-pulls. Those are my thoughts. I'm going to leave this here because this looks absolutely incredible. So let me know what you're pulling. Let me know what I should give a second chance to. Like the video if you can. That would be fantastic. And of course, if you want to see more videos of me stuttering at the end of the video because I'm tired, definitely hit that subscribe button, and I guarantee you'll get more. Anyway, till next time, see you soon. Take care and read more comics.